we thought we had been live for a little while we were figuring things out, but we weren't. Also, I didn't completely figure things out, but it looks fucking crazy. I don't know. Is this too seizure-inducing? Can we go through with this? Do you think? What in the fuck is going on?
Oh my god.
I should probably solve this, right? I don't know why it's. I mean, I have it set to Xbox One.
Yeah, you probably
should. What happens when you set it to Xbox One?
I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Because when I set it to other, which is what it should be, it just doesn't do anything. Alright, let's deactivate that. And reactivate that. And see what happens.
Once Bar Weekly says, this works. Get a new HDMI, poor fag.
Do you think it's the HDMI cord's fault? That's a very high probability at this point because I've tried a lot of different things and I didn't recognize this HDMI cord, so I think it could. It also seems kind of bent, so it might be that the HDMI cord doesn't work. In which case, I need a new HDMI. Mark.
Yeah, where is it?
I don't know. Where can I find an HDMI?
I wonder where my super long one is.
I think that's the one that's plugged into the Elgato because it feeds all the way like around the TV.
You think it's mine?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because it's a super thick, long one.
Yeah.
And Mark likes it super thick and long.
That's what she said.
Alright, we are still having technical difficulties, but this will become an actual live stream. And we'll probably do it for a long ass time, because we're going to be high as shit. But we're going to need some time to find an HDMI cord. And I am going to get a drink and vape.
I'm back. $4.20, dude. Nice. Nice. I may roll up a joint for this stream in a bit. Are you gonna hike into the mountains? Maybe. That sounds fun. Mark asked May how it felt to be hit on by a boomer live on air. It was pretty fucking sweet. To be acknowledged, it's more of like to be acknowledged as like a cool person by like such a fucking impressive and articulate and just like, you know, somebody you respect and somebody who's fucking cool, so it was really cool.
I think you have to put this onto an existing pen. It's just a cartridge.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta find my fucking vape box to use it then.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, like usually they just give you a one-time use pen.
Is Dick a boomer? And tiny faced. Yeah, both of those are true. Dick is like a Gen X, but like
he's a Gen Xer.
In terms of people on the internet, there's just like, you know, millennials, Zoomers, and then anybody who's older than a millennial is somebody who like, you know, would have had a reason to be a part of internet culture even earlier. So a lot of them are considered like boomers, but And also, I just don't think the people in Gen X are,
It's working.
like, that a lot of those interests really travel, and, like, they seem like people who would rather do things in person, so you don't really see, like, a lot of things for Gen X people online.
I don't know why it's in 4x3.
It just is.
Well, it's in 4x3, but it's on.
It's here.
Now we gotta make it on the TV as well. Y'all making fun of boomers up here?
Yes.
I love making fun of boomers.
You do? I do too.
Alright.
Tom is in so many discords you can't even see them all.
I'm not playing Rewind Remastered. God damn it. This is not what we're playing. Alright, now we gotta update the stream details and actually do the things that we usually would have done like 20 minutes ago. Even accounting for how late we started.
Southern accent for the entire stream. It's great.
Ah, y'all coming in here talking about them Super Smash Brothers Ultimate? I can tell you about some motherfucking Super Smash Brothers that I can do.
Did you meet anyone noteworthy in LA besides Dick? You did meet a fan.
Oh yeah, I'll tell that story, but we gotta figure shit out first. Okay. We gotta know what we're playing. We gotta update the stream information. And put out a tweet. And then retweet that tweet. As is standard procedure. So what game should I play? We've got a lot of good fucking games in here. We've got Daemon X Machina Prototype, Splatoon 2, Tetris 99, Smash Ultimate, fucking YouTube, the game, Bayonetta, Pokemon Let's Go.
What do you want to play?
Doom, Breath of the Wild. Do I have to have the... Some of these I'm not sure if they're like... See, it's got a little picture of the cart. I mean, all the games are here. What do you think I should play? Breath of the Wild, or Doom, or Bayonetta, or Pokemon, or Tetris 99?
I'd say Bayonetta or Doom. I wouldn't play Breath of the Wild just because it isn't a good streaming game.
No, you don't think so?
I don't know.
I don't know if Doom or Bayonetta is a good stream. Bayonetta would be fun. That's kind of in the spirit of what people came to see if they think we're playing Devil May Cry 5. So I need you to update the stream information to Bayonetta. You click on... Should be an edit button. Yeah, click edit. And then change the category. And it'll autofill whatever you're typing in. So you want to type Bayonetta and then click on the suggestion.
Bayonetta 2? Or
no,
Bayonetta?
just one. Continue or new game?
What should it be titled?
I don't have to watch the cutscenes, right? Oh no, I don't want to delete Tom's checkpoint. I don't know if he hasn't beaten this yet. I thought he said he had beat Bayonetta 1, right? Didn't he say he was on Bayonetta 2?
Yeah.
Chat, do you know? Does anybody know if Tom's beaten Bayonetta yet? This is very important before I accidentally overwrite his checkpoint. Did you update all the info? Just make the title like fucking high as balls Bayonetta stream. I don't know. I don't know if we're allowed to say that on Twitch. I don't know what the rules are.
Flavor blasted.
Flavor blasted Bayonetta. That's a good one. I want to be. I need to smoke a little more of this here fucking cartridge, but I don't have the fucking bulb.
I'll go get the grinder and the...
Are you gonna make a joint or something? Like...
We have a little joint making device, so it's super fast.
Yeah, but do you want to smoke it here? That's why I got the vape. If we want to smoke, we can just use the vape, but you gotta get the box.
Oh, the box?
Yeah, you gotta get the box that I hooked that into.
Yeah, but do you know where it is?
Yeah, it's down in the fucking thing.
Okay, I'm trying to like...
cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did the chat ever answer me about whether or not Tom had beaten Bayonetta?
They said, yes, he beat it, and then they said, ask him.
Ask him how? I don't have a phone.
Hey, Digi, have you heard the new King Gizzard singles? And also, Do you look forward to the new album?
I do look forward to the new album. I only heard one single. It was like Robot Rock or some shit like that. It was fucking, I don't know. It was alright. I don't think I listened to the whole thing. I think I stopped at some point, but it kind of felt like it was in the vein of like Rattlesnake. And I want more in the vein of fucking Crumbling Castle.
Alright.
Wait, is there a way for me to skip these fucking cutscenes? There must be some possible way. I can't possibly have to watch this, right?
No way.
This
I'm
would
gonna
not
tweet
be
about
okay.
it. Wait, I can't tweet about it on my computer.
Well, maybe it's going straight into gameplay, that's why. Okay.
It hasn't updated on here yet.
Fucking A. It's Bayonetta's ass. Alright, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is an explosion of light and sound and color. This looks way better than I remember it looking. I don't know if they updated it at all for the Switch. Got it. I mean, I played
So I
it
have
on
to
the
find
Wii
like a
U,
picture
so it
of
wasn't like I didn't play it
the resolution is dog shit.
on the stream.
Yeah.
That's because it's fucking. I don't understand what's wrong with it. It's fucking retarded.
Once your eyes get used to it, it's not so bad.
It looks amazing on the screen though. I would like for it to look that way on stream. But yeah, the dude, the Elgato is an infuriating, fucking uncomprehensible clusterfuck device. And like when you combine the fact that the Elgato fucks up with the fact that Streamlabs OBS fucks up, with the fact that Tom's old ass computer fucks up, even though we did put like I think we put a modern processor in there, so I don't think it should be the computer's fault. I don't even know. I don't know if it has a shitty old processor or just a good graphics card. I don't know what Tom has done with it, but between the three of them, nothing ever fucking works. And that's why our streams are always late, because we're always trying to figure out what the hell is broken. And usually if you get to the point where you have to restart the whole computer, you can get it to work. But like, you know, that takes some time, and sometimes you're like, I just want to get the live stream going, man. Fucking, then we can solve the issues from there. But then sometimes it turns out the issues were greater than what you realized, and for no fucking reason, your stream is in 4x3 and there's no way to fix it without seemingly restarting the whole fucking computer. And you're already streaming. So
Yes. I'm trying to find a picture of Bayonetta like high, but I cannot
is
find
the audience
one.
going to say, you know what, this bothers us enough that we'd like you to
They
restart
said
the computer?
sit far away and squint, and it's not so bad. Looks like a GameCube game.
Hey, I love the game.
We got Low Poly Mental, subbed with Twitch Prime.
I mean, for what it's worth, the you know, the models and everything, like everything that's going on, it's not like that graphically impressive, because this game is all about being locked at 60 frames. You know, like you want to. I mean, it is not to say it's graphically unimpressive, but like, you know, it's not the best looking thing you've ever seen. It's just that the art design is really great, and there's just a ton of fucking shit going on. Lots of effects on screen, and you're fucking playing and jamming, and like, it's a lot to take in. But when you look at it up close, you're like, oh yeah, this looks dated as fuck. And not just because it's from 2 console generations ago, technically.
Yes.
If you count the Switch as a next-gen console. Does the Switch count as a next-gen console?
Yeah,
Do
right?
people think of it as being further along than the PS4's generation?
No.
Or does
Yeah, don't people?
I don't know.
I thought the Wii U was supposed to be like in that generation.
It was.
Yeah.
The Switch has come out
Yeah,
so
I think the
quickly.
Switch is.
I mean, it was like 4 years, so like a lot of people see it as like, yo, well, that's how long some of the old console generations were.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if Nintendo comes out with another one like a year after fucking they launch the next other guys? Who knows? Fucking. Yes, I can skip. Thank God. I don't know why it has to give me so many options. Like, I'm obviously going to skip the cutscenes on most playthroughs. Fuck save. Fuck sleep. Enemies. Fake homies. Don't forget that I'm emoji. Police, po. Anything going on in the chat? What you checking on your phone?
I'm trying to make a tweet for the game, but I'm trying to find like a marijuana themed Bayonetta, and it's not happening. They're saying the Switch is intergen. Nintendo is pretty much on their own at this point. I mean, they're making games for like a different audience. They're making games for like everybody versus like stuff for gamers.
I mean, it's funny because like Nintendo's handheld consoles, aside from, well, all of them actually, by the end of their lifespan, have all been insanely fucking successful. So like, the idea of having a handheld that's as powerful as most of the modern consoles, you can't beat that. It's the best possible idea.
Yeah.
It's all anybody wants is to be able to take it anywhere and hook it up to the TV, so you don't gotta have all this fucking bullshit. Like, the funny thing about it is that, like, I really hope that the Switch is like a prototype, and it worries me that they release like everything on it, like they're banking everything on this console, when like they could have taken this all the way, you know? I mean, I feel like this is what I want from a laptop, and maybe a tablet is kind of like that a little bit, but like,
yeah.
I want something that like I can just hook into a dock and it becomes a computer on my screen, and then to just have everything on the same device. I don't want to have to own more than one device for anything.
Indeed. Nobody does.
PC gaming needs to get in on the Switch market. And that's who it's competing with, because they're releasing fucking everything on the Switch, because like everybody wants that gaming experience. But like, imagine if PC had the same thing, but you just play PC games on it. It would be like, oh, well, this is a way better idea than just one that has Nintendo exclusives and
well, they have like gaming tablets and
most
stuff.
other things. But like, there's tons of shit that's not going to come to the Switch. I've just realized I need to hit fucking
Get a gaming tablet and like, or just like a laptop that like can convert into a tablet and you can play it. I'm redrawing over Bayonetta and just giving her a giant blunt because that's all I can do at this point.
Are you drawing on the tweet? It's really fucking funny. This show has just been like everything happening at the quarter amount of speed it would normally be happening, and it's not because we're high. It's just because we were completely unprepared.
Oh yeah, I mean we didn't even realize that we were streaming today until I said
yeah,
something.
Well, because like we just got back from LA yesterday, and I slept for a fucking eternity. It was like that, oh, I'm catching up on any sleep I might have missed in the last week. Like, I woke up and you were already fucking on the treadmill running, and I'm like, god damn. I must have slept at least an hour more than you, if not more than that. Right? How long did I sleep for?
I don't know. I don't know when you got up.
So then, we were up
I was up at like 8 or 10, not 8.
Like, we had warmed up the house overnight and shit, but it's like, we just came back from a tropical island paradise, basically, except for none of those things.
It looks so bad.
Oh, that is hilarious. I love it. I can't wait for you to tweet that.
Oh my god.
Everybody, you need to keep your eyes, open up a new tab and keep your eyes on the I Am Games Twitter.
Yeah.
I believe it is at I Am Games or something. You need to go check that out before she makes this tweet. Hold X or nope, wrong button. Let's move on. Okay. I got it. just pressing the wrong button is all. Oh, whoa. I don't even remember this shit. I don't remember ever doing this in Bayonetta. I've beat this game before. I don't remember half of this fucking shit. Oh, right. This is not an RPG. It felt like I was playing an RPG because every time I hit an enemy it would take me into some other screen to fight them. And I don't know how long the tutorial goes, so I thought if I got close to those guys it was going to start another tutorial. But then I realized it wasn't, and I just had to beat their asses.
Oh my god, my phone's gonna die soon.
What? Your phone's gonna die? I thought you said your friend was gonna die, and I was like, what the fuck? What's happening?
I don't have friends.
No, but then I realized you had said it so flippantly that it couldn't possibly have been your friend. Get fucked. That's right, it's playing Fly-Me to the Moon. Made famous by the anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion. Many are familiar with the Frank Sinatra cover of this song. Frank Sinatra was a big Neon Genesis Evangelion fan.
Oh,
But he never credits his
Nope.
fandom of the series to his decision to cover the song.
He's a closet weeb. He keeps that shit in the closet.
Get the fuck off my dick, bitch.
I just want to die. Wink.
Beating up everybody.
Oh my god.
Beating up everybody.
I'm sorry that I take forever to
city.
tweet.
You do.
I
It's an
have.
impressive amount of time you've been working on that.
Oh
tweet.
shit! I tweeted out the wrong tweet. Ah!
Oh no! What have you done? What Twitter did you tweet
Yours.
on? It's fine. Just retweet it on the I Am Games tweet. I just do it the other way around anyways. It doesn't make a bit of difference.
Are you not following yourself on IO Games?
Oh, I Am Games isn't following anything.
He should follow you.
Well, we just have not done
Well,
anything but tweet about the stream on that Twitter.
the tweet is great. You should look at it.
Oh, Jesus fuck. We're live and alive. Can't say the same about Tommy Alvarez. I'm playing some Bayonetta. That's incredible. Everybody please go to the Twitter and look at this picture of Bayonetta holding the blunt, which Mark will now read your responses to in the chat live here on Twitch when
Boomer
she remembers
struggles
that
with
she's
modern
reading a
tech.
chat.
But all in all, I wanted to say congrats to Tome again for winning the 10 Paces and Draw pilot. But I don't know if he's here or not.
I think that's a spoiler.
Tell
Not
him to
everybody could have seen that
congrats.
yet, right?
I'm sorry. That person tweeted it. But yeah, you are kind of spoiling shit, Retro Gamer Kevin, so...
Well, maybe maybe it's been out long enough to watch it. I have no idea. Somebody had said earlier that it just debuted, so I just assumed that some people were skipping to the end to find out who won. Although it was spoiled that Tom won months ago anyways by Nate, because there's a clip he had uploaded where he's like congratulating Tom, or like Tom is like in the car and they're like congratulating him for his victory, or something like that. And like I think somebody had pointed out that it was spoiling 10 Paces and Draw, but we just figured not enough people would see it to give a fuck because it was on like his side.
It's definitely been out long enough. I watched the premiere live, yeah.
I see. How long is it?
I think it's like an hour almost.
God damn. I didn't watch. I haven't seen it yet because I was on vacation. Ben was showing it to everybody. To, like,
I was
get their
just
approval.
spoiled for it too, and now I'm kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
But I think I had heard that Tom had won, maybe from Digi, like when it happened, but I had long forgotten. So,
well, it's spoiled now.
I mean, it's Tom.
Yeah.
He's an incredible artist.
Well, it's just great because like he was like the one who nobody expected to win. If you watch through, it's very interesting the way it all plays out. Where it's just like Tom never failed badly enough. Everybody else failed at some point, you know.
Should
Tom
we
was just
expect
consistent.
DMC5 content from games?
I have no idea. You have to ask Tom. I have had no interaction with the game yet. It came out the day I left. I felt very proud for Tom because he literally needed that. He needed a break. I think I failed. I think I'm supposed to do something in a certain amount of time, and I did not do it in that amount of time.
I see. How do you guys feel about the premiering on YouTube? I think it's kind of stupid because, I don't know, the point of it being a YouTube video is that it's on demand and like,
right.
You know, you can draw some kind of publicity and attention to your stuff by like premiering it, but I think the novelty is gonna wear out pretty fast. Like, it's not TV. Like,
I mean, I guess there's, for the audience member, there's not necessarily any downside other than feeling like you missed out on the premiere, or like feeling the need to join in on it while it's like, that's what worries me the most about it, is the idea that you would join in on it while it's ongoing without starting from the
without
beginning,
watching the whole video, because
right.
It's kind of just like you're kind of training your audience to see your content as something different than what it really is.
Yeah.
I'm like wondering if people are gonna like add components of their video. I don't know what you really can do that'll make it like more fun to do during your premiere.
It's, you know, it's really funny to me because I feel like Netflix has been successful with the just drop a show out of the fucking blue all at once route, and like if they can be successful with that, I don't understand why anything else is necessary. Because like I think if that preserves the art the best, you know, that like you don't go into it with any like long period of expectations and hype build up. You don't have to wait like week after week as the show drags its feet deliberately to fill more time.
Right, and I think that, like, you know, TV is on its way out. You don't have to watch any
ads in between.
At least the idea of like TV that we've grown up with there being 800 channels that all have to be filled. Yeah. You know, so some networks they wanna have shows. They wanna have people work for them and write shows, but I think they're gonna realize that like the people who actually care about the craft are not going to want to work for networks, and they can just have Netflix buy their show. So we might just see like live TV just only being like long-running sitcoms and like soap operas, and everything else just going on other platforms. I don't know. Personally, I'm not a fan of Premiere. For 10 pieces and draw, I backed it up to the beginning and hid the chat.
That's what I would do if I came in any time besides the beginning and wanted to watch
like
it
being
right
able
now.
to comment while it's happening almost makes it feel like I have friends.
Well, that's what streams are for.
Yeah, it's just
because that's what makes it weird to me, is that like you're talking to it, but it. I mean, I guess you're watching it with other people. I guess there's some fun in that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna take away from the video.
It's funny though because like it's like I wish there was a way that. It would be better to me if they just put a chat room on all videos, you know? Although I guess then you can't really sync it.
Yeah, and people are gonna spoil it, like, if you're watching it live.
And they just need to make the whole comment system work like Nico Nico Dogo, where your comments scroll across the video at whatever time code you left it at. That's right. The best possible way.
Somebody asked if you had any travel plans for Europe.
No.
No, I don't even have my. I don't have a passport. I can get one fairly easy, but you know, you have to have like a couple months in advance. But I have the enhanced license, so I guess like if I go to Canada or Mexico, it's fine. It was nice seeing you on the Dick Show this week, Digi.
Yeah. I think I came out pretty okay. It seems like not everybody in Dick's audience hates me. Some of them think my appearance was pretty good. Some people said I was one of the, the better guests to have on as a in-studio guest. Maybe not not in the top like 20%, but in the top like 50%. Sort of the vibe I was getting. But that's a large group of people to be above. Dick has a lot of shitty guests, and I am not the worst. Oh boy. But I tried to pay forward my appearance by making a vlog about my experience at Dick's house. Cause like, as a fan of the show, I get why you'd be pissed off if some other fan who you don't think is funny gets to be on the show just because they're famous. When they don't really have any connection to the show.
Isn't that like every
other than
guest,
that they
though?
watch it and are famous.
I feel like that a lot of times, like, Dick especially will have on guests who politically don't represent what his target audience is saying, and like the fans don't care about, but just because they're famous, it's like, hey, we can have you on the show. Dick just brings on whoever he wants to. There's like no precedent that it has to be an audience favorite.
Right, exactly.
Like,
well, and like, I think that initially, my involvement with the show was just simply that I was somebody with a lot of followers who was a fan of his, and I've been a patron the whole time as well. So like, I think he looks at me as like, I would be a cool guy anyways because I patron him, and you have to understand, almost no fucking creators actually patron anybody. And it kind of pisses me off. I'm one of the only creators who I know of who actually patrons other people.
right?
So like, a lot of those people appreciate that because they're not used to getting like open support from other people who make things, Okay, I guess they exchanged something. I don't know what the fuck I just did. So like, aside from the fact that I'm a patron, I showed up at his live show. Drove all the way from Virginia Beach up there to Philadelphia. So like, I think that he sees all of that. And is like, all right, it's cool to have this guy be a fan of me,
Yeah.
A guy who also makes a lot of money on Patreon, so like, we have a similar enough career, I think. And I guess he enjoyed my first call-in, because he was the one who invited me on the second time to talk about the whole lolly thing. And like, he had basically told me after my first appearance that I could come on whenever I want. He was like, come back anytime. I was like, all right, but like, I don't really get any fame boost from being on Dick's show. Like, some people are really breaking into a new audience when they go onto Dick's show. Dick's show is not full of anime fans. It's not full of, like, people who are going to think I'm funny and want to check out the rest of my shit. Like, most of the people who watch his show don't like me, Like, they just see me as like, why the fuck do you have this guy on? And Dick's like, well, of course I have this guy on because I relate to him. I do the same kind of work he does and have the same kind of problems. But, like, people who relate to Dick relate to his more like real world,
and he's a very
life.
broad interest show. It's just kind of like, if you're a young adult male and he has some conservative beliefs and some libertarian beliefs, but I think he's not a political guy. So like,
and it's really funny because he gets painted as like a right winger or like something like that just because of supporting Trump, which he mostly does because it's funny. Yeah, because he never voted before. Like, he doesn't. He doesn't even involve himself.
He's not a political guy. He doesn't involve himself in politics. Like, yeah, he's kind of has some libertarian values, and he kind of is like shits on feminism and stuff, and like that stuff alienates a lot of people. So yeah, obviously, like, people are gonna have an idea of what Dick is.
Didn't we actually talk about that on the episode?
Yeah,
that, like,
it happened.
That he had said something about like the shit that he gets for defending me, and I said, yeah, tell me about the shit I get for associating with you. Like, I'm fucking friends with communities who will think that the things I say are completely benign, and the things that he says are like outrageous.
Where do I find the Dick show? Somebody asks.
just type The Dick Show into Google.
Yeah, you can listen to it for free. If you want to like watch the video, though, you have to Patreon, but he has like a website where it's all up.
Yeah.
Japanese voice actors are bad. Worst Sean take ever. Yeah.
Well, I don't expect anything from Sean or Dick. His reasoning for why they're bad is just that they speak Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
That you have to listen to. Oh, so desu ne. Hi hi.
If you're used to Hollywood acting, Japanese acting does feel weird. Yeah, because it's a different sensibility. But you can tell that, like, if you like if you ever went to a theater in person, you know, it's different than how they do it on TV. But it's a different language, so it's gonna sound different.
Yeah.
They use different techniques, but I don't think it's worse because it's different. One Spar Weekly says, don't want to spam, but at I Am Games, have you seen Wargrove yet? Do you have a spicy take on it?
Never heard of it.
He had asked like 3 times. Should I Google
it?
it?
No idea what
Should I Google what
is.
Wargrove is?
I guess so.
I like stuttered really bad earlier and I feel bad.
You like knowing things. I like knowing as few things as possible.
Wargrove is a game for the Switch. It's a turn-based tactics game.
You guys gotta understand that the only reason that
and it looks like it has Groot in it.
What the fuck?
I don't
does
think
look like Groot.
That was the first image on Google when I looked it up, so it looks like Groot is in it, so that's our opinion.
Yeah, it looks like Groot is in it. Anyway, I was gonna say that I Am Games, if I Am Games was only me, it would just be GameCube forever, and it would be nothing else. The ability to do the podcasts comes from the fact that Tom actually keeps track of what is happening in gaming, and can therefore like give us things to talk about on a podcast. But like, if it weren't for him, I would never know what's happening at all, because I don't follow any gaming communities at all. And like, in spite of the fact that I follow tons of games analysis on YouTube, that's all people coming in after the fact talking about a game once it's out. Like, I will eventually figure out that a game must have been hyped up because I keep seeing videos about it, you know? But like, a game would have to be really hyped for a really long time, like Cuphead, for me to know about it before it came out, you know?
Well, maybe if you watched the Nintendo Direct, you would have known about that game.
Which one?
The one that
was there a new Nintendo Direct?
There might have been one in the past like 2 weeks. I don't know.
I mean, we did a video about a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, maybe you just didn't catch that one, or maybe there wasn't a Nintendo Direct for it yet. But who knows? It's funny that you would like try to do modern games and not really like know what games are coming out.
Dude, I don't know. Because I hate following media.
Yeah, and it's like there's always new stuff coming out. Like, it's
really like, I'm not somebody who hates new shit, but like, I don't like much shit in general, you know? So it's like, I don't have a problem with, say, modern games. I might have a problem with the trends in popular modern games, but I would have had a problem with the trends in popular modern games in any era, you know? But there's always been good games. And trying to find the stuff that's actually good is really difficult when you're following media that's just constantly trying to hype you for fucking everything.
Yeah, it's a hype machine.
And like, you can follow some online critics and shit, but like, you're always going to end up either dealing with also their political agenda, or you're going to also be dealing with their drama, their weird opinions, their complaints about the industry that you don't really give a shit about. Like, you know, you just want to know what are good games I can play. And it's like, that's not easy to come across until the games are already out and people are talking about them, you know? And like, I'll eventually hear about it if enough YouTubers talk about it, or if, you know, if I hear about it from my followers. But otherwise, if something new were to come out that wasn't like a game getting talked about by every YouTuber that I follow, Tom better have heard of it, or else I'm not going to, you know? I don't think I would have ever heard of Apex Legends. I think that in spite of how big of a deal that seemed to be, I would have not heard about it at all because nobody who I follow on YouTube covers Battle Royale games, you know? So unless, like, Super Bunny Hop offhandedly mentioned it, and even he doesn't really talk about them, you know? But he, like, keeps abreast of what's really going on.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said Matthew Matosis stated his most anticipated games. So, like, you know, that'd be one way you would know about a game.
When did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know what video. He said Titanfall.
I don't think it was a video. It's probably a tweet.
Yeah, probably.
Or like a form spring.
Yeah, he just says he stated his anticipated games. I've been enjoying going into games blind lately. It's usually a much more enjoyable experience overall.
What happened? Did that thing get away from me? I wanted that credit.
Yeah, I mean, I go into pretty much every game blind, unless it's a Nintendo game, and that's just because, like, I've seen their hype for it. Bring back the Toku cast.
Did I get him? Where does he go when I don't get him? I would like to bring back the Toku cast, but I don't know. I would like to bring back many things. The dead. Oh,
bring
shit.
back manga one day.
If I ever started reading manga again, I probably would bring back manga one day.
Super Bunny Hop's SOTC video was kinda lame. Or maybe already knowing everything about the game made it a boring video.
His what video?
SOTC.
What the hell is SOTC?
I thought you would know.
You just read it assuming I would know.
Yeah.
SOTC. It's almost
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh. I forgot he did that.
Hey May, you should watch
I've been on vacation for a week. I have not watched any... I have not consumed any internet.
Yeah.
The only internet I remember consuming the last week was Twitter. And I mean that's normally all I really consume anyways, but I wasn't paying that much attention to Twitter. And I don't follow that much shit on Twitter. Actually, how do I find out about anything ever? Is it just you? Do you just tell me things?
Yeah, but Tom will also tell you things.
Yeah, I guess
and
you
then
and Tom
being on the
tell me
PCP,
everything.
you like learn about everything.
That's true. We do learn shit going on from... Literally, if I didn't do shows with people, I would not know what was going on ever.
Digi, how do you feel about Twitter removing like numbers?
What? Are they doing that?
Yeah, they are.
That'll ruin them.
Yeah.
It's the only thing people care about.
Yeah.
Like, you think people are gonna stay on Twitter if they can't tell how many likes they have? No. That defeats the whole fucking purpose.
The purpose of going on Twitter and tweeting is to get likes. So if you take that away, it's like... Well,
It's like, are they getting too criticized for, like, getting people addicted and causing social media addiction? Because, like,
no,
that's the only reason they have a business.
It had shit to do with, like, the Trump tweets and how they were getting, like, too many likes and they weren't okay with it.
That can't be true.
No,
That sounds like a fucking conspiracy theory.
No, it definitely is because people were, like, you know, liking too many political things. They didn't like that political statements were getting likes.
That's retarded. If that's their reasoning, that is such a ridiculous way to overcorrect it. They will ruin their whole business trying to do that, which would be insanely foolish.
I only use Twitter to promote my stuff. Question mark.
If you're promoting your shit, you have no way of knowing how successful it is if you can't see how many fucking likes it's getting.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's no way you would use it. The likes are the gauge of the success of the piece that you've put out.
May, Mark, I am not joking here. If that is the real justification for the removal of likes, I will try anal hardcore today. I am a man. My butthole is almost virgin. This is not a drill.
Oh
Yo,
my God.
you better have the lube ready.
Yeah, you better get the lube ready,
Go buy
dude.
some coconut oil from the grocery store if you can't get lube.
Why would he not be able to get lube?
I don't know. If he doesn't live near a Walmart. You can get lube
Whoa, what
anywhere.
is it?
Wouldn't be surprised if you go to a gas station.
Whoa!
And get lube sold
Well, I
anywhere
used
they
that
sell
up, I
5-hour
guess.
energies.
The thing was a rocket launcher. I forgot that you can get like big ass weapons in this game, but they're just like temporary, I think. But look how cool it is. Why can't I?
Did you see that Tom had an 8K liked meme on Twitter?
Was this his? What was it?
Gotta look now.
It was he had done some good meme. It got a lot of attention. He did the thing where he like attached his game to it, like in the next tweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like so successful that he was like, I can't not like.
Right,
If this
you have
even
to
gets
promote
one
this.
person, it'll be worth it. I'm so broke.
It probably did. What if instead of
What?
numbers, the thumb just gets bigger? That's some Facebook bullshit.
I would love that if it just kept getting bigger infinitely.
Where is his tweet?
I didn't know.
I'm looking hard for it. I don't want to look too hard.
I mean, it was from before we left, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 'cause we were talking.
He tweets so fucking much.
I mean,
Oh,
when
the
you're
Sonic the
broken,
Hedgehog one? Yeah, that was a great tweet. The one where it's like the honeycomb guy. But didn't he
Oh,
take
yeah.
that from, I think what had happened was Zen had posted that guy earlier, and then Tom just like used the same image but recolored him as to be Sonic.
Something like
So
that.
like Zen did the tweet originally.
I guess you could say that.
I'm not impressed, Tom.
Oh god. Oh my god. Whoa, I got fucking eaten. Oh wait, that was one of them that got eaten, not me. It looked like me.
Have you guys played Crackdown? I've been playing it recently and it's really fun.
And they really raised the stakes in this, fucking having all these fucking nuns get just eaten. Alright, am I dead? No, just let me die. I know I'm not gonna win. God damn.
Okay, I'm cool with Mark, but who's this other guy? Where's Tom, other than dead? Where is Tome? Hope Tome is well. He hadn't had to get like a spinal tap or like steroids
It
in
was
his
steroids
spine.
in his spine. I don't know if spinal tap is
It's
like
when
what
you
that's
get the
called.
giant fucking the shot in your spine.
Is that what? Well, look it up. Look up spinal tap so you don't have to keep asking if that's correct.
But it's funnier to say spinal tap because it sounds like a serious thing.
Well, it might be true. So if he
Okay.
did get that, then you'll be able to say it for real.
A spinal tap. There's a movie called This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, that's the band. This is Spinal Tap.
Also called a lumbar puncture. Also known as a spinal tap, is a medical procedure in which a needle, not a noodle, is inserted into the spinal canal, most commonly to collect cerebrospinal fluid for diagnostic tests. Me, if you have meningitis.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Jesus Christ. They really went in on that. Is there any way I can prevent that? Can I make them not die?
I guess they call it spinal tap because like they're tapping your back fluid, like how you like tap a maple tree. You like draw, yeah. That's fucking disgusting.
Well, is that what he got?
No, he just got a shot. He got an injection, but
He had steroids injected into his spine. And now he's recuperating at his parents' house.
Yes, back to mommy and daddy's. Oh my god.
Depending on whether or not that worked and whether he's gonna have to get a surgery now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he's going to be for a while. But if he's not getting a surgery, he might be okay soon, for all I know.
Did you name your top 5 game analysis channels?
Matthew Matosis, Mr. B-Tongue, Super Bunny Hop. There's a steep cliff after that. I'd have to choose between, like, I mean, if we're just counting, like, who had the best videos, I've always been a huge fan of Sequelitis. But, you know, it's not like an active channel. There was only, like, 4 of them. And, who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing some, I mean, there's Gaming Brit's good, Hyperbit Hero's good. Errant Signal is good. Noah Caldwell Gervais is occasionally tolerable. Am I missing any great games analysis?
I can't think of any. For the record, my asshole is safe. Twitter CEO's justification for removing likes is some baby's first blunt shit. Here's the quote. It is part of a more concerted effort to promote what Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey describes as the collective health, openness, and civility of public conversation. That's why, because political bullshit is getting likes.
I feel like that could be interpreted in any possible
No,
way.
what I saw was like people were liking tweets, and because when you like something, it shows up on people's news feeds. People were having, you know, to be bombarded with like political things that they don't agree with.
It just sounds like Twitter's API is fucked up. I mean, like, how are they going to know what to show you if not by how many likes something gets? What are they going to show you then?
They're going to show you how many retweets it gets, but like the point of Twitter was like they had the likes first, right?
I have no fucking idea. I can't.
Maybe they had retweets first, but I don't know.
I guess I only had to do like a third of that thing's meter to win. Because that was fucking insanely intense. But then it ended before I was done, it seemed like. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I didn't know I was going the way that would activate the rest of the battle. I thought I was going the opposite way. I thought I was going the way that would not engage with another battle. Well, the shadow's about to remain cast, y'all. I don't know how far back that sets me. Babu, would you get the vape box and see if it's charged?
Where is it?
I think it's down in the little weed cabinet.
Okay.
The shadow remains cast. Will you also give me like a chips or something if we have any? Yeah. I don't want the goldfish. You're always offering me goldfish.
I'm sorry.
That's why I don't buy the goldfish. Well, I guess it started me off after the boss with full health, so this is the best possible outcome. I'll just save by entering the gates of hell. I think that's what happens here, right? Isn't this the bar? Yeah. Back in the old gothic bar. With the ass. Angelic Hills Gold LP. Alright. Enough of that shit. Oh, I got a guns! Those are some sick looking guns. Those are some sick looking guns, Mark. Where's Mark? Mike. And Mike, where have you gone, Mike? Okay. Do we want to waste all of our money on curative items? Or techniques? We probably want air dodge, right? That sounds possibly important. Stiletto! Alright, let's get an air dodge. Yeah, we're gonna want that. That's gonna be necessary. What are his treasures? I don't know what it means. Oh, what were the accessories? These all do. What do these do? Call the strength of the demon to which they are contracted and divide themselves into multiple beings. What the fuck? Okay. I didn't know you could do shit like that. I don't think I ever used any of this shit before. Oh, the guns are way too fucking expensive. So let's just buy a few fucking curatives like a little bitch. What does this one do? Energy increase. Raise your attack power. I don't want that. This one heal you? Yeah, this is the healing one. But the fucking... the smaller ones are dog shit. Do we have any chips? No. Ah. Blue chips. I want blue chips if they're still good. I don't know if they're still good. Oh, this is just to bring you back to life shot. I mean... oh, this increases your... oh, I should just be saving.
He doesn't like the whole grain goldfish. That's what the problem is. Also, I mean, I couldn't find it, so I don't like. I don't dislike it. I just don't want goldfish. Or else I would get goldfish. Oh, you got the vape box? Why not the other one? Couldn't find it.
Oh no. Did you try the Mickey Mouse head basket? Well. Alright, I'm real fucking out of you.
I'm just gonna leave it up. They can't see me, can they? They can see my shoulders.
I don't know. Look at the picture.
I can see my shoulders. Do we have enough cleave?
Clue?
Cleave?
I don't know.
You don't know? I definitely have enough cleave. It looks like matcha powder.
Alright, motherfuckers, we're doing a boss. This has got to be one of the more surreal streams that we've ever done, right?
Why?
Because I'm like talking to myself and playing the game. And you're like getting materials and making weed and shit.
I'm making weed?
Yeah, you're making weed over there.
Did you get a drink? One of the lemon drinks?
No. Because when I realized it was just powder, I was like, oh, it probably mixes like shit.
No, I was like grossed out by that. Like. Yeah,
we're talking about they had like a weed lemonade powder, like the Kool-Aid pack of weed injected lemonade, I guess. Fuck, Jamp. It looked like it said Jamp. Thank God they fucking lengthened the time on that, I think, because that shit used to fucking piss me off. Slamming a quick time event at the end of a fucking boss fight. I'll be on my toes for that from now on. And then it's gonna break apart. Ba-blow! No?
It really doesn't feel right without Tom. Let me tell you about something. It doesn't feel right with Tom. You're just not used to it feeling right. You should stream some of the Sailor Moon games with May. Which Sailor Moon games are good? Are any of them
I've never
like,
heard
good?
anything good about any Sailor Moon game before.
I would be down to play a game like that, but... Fun fact, there used to be this really good goldfish mac and cheese that it was the only good instant mac and cheese on the market. Huh. But it felt fine without Digi, lol.
I assume that Tom did not stream 2 days ago, right? But he must have last week, and he probably streamed DMC5.
Yeah, I don't think he streamed on Tuesday. There's a Sailor Moon fighting game and an SNES RPG. If Tom ain't right, I want to be wrong. Mark, why do you bang May behind Digi's back? Because she lets me. Favorite anime-ish game?
Anime-ish game? That could be literally anything. It's no longer right first.
SNES Drunk reviewed some Sailor Moon games.
Did he say any were good?
I guess the RPG that's fan translated.
Well, if you want to let's play a fucking Sailor Moon RPG for
oh no, there's
probably
just
Super
people
Nintendo.
insisting in the chat talking about Sailor Moon. I would be down, but you haven't even watched Sailor Moon.
No, I have not. I got gold on the boss, but I got a
We should definitely watch Sailor Moon. It's aesthetic.
We could do
and
that.
You can watch an episode before
We
bed.
can literally watch anything. We do not have to jump into 2017 Finish or Fail. We could do Finish or Fail of my entire on hold list, which is the original
80s Girl
purpose.
become a co-host on the Cast? I think she's kind of like staying away from
The
putting
internet.
anything on the internet. Like I don't think she wants anything connected to her. She's like a school teacher. I don't.
Yeah. I think if she wanted to be involved in a podcast, she would be.
She has
in Dick's
every
podcast.
opportunity to like meet people who would do that. I just, you know.
Did you already fill up that box?
It's all set and ready.
Oh shit.
She was pretty cool though. I don't know if she would be a good fit for the Cast. But again, I don't know if anybody is necessarily a good fit for the Cast.
Including the hosts. I think
especially the hosts. Especially our newest one.
I think 80s Girl is a little too mature for the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nobody fits the cock at first.
Alright.
I was born in the cock. That was like that one
You must know
character.
how to pack that thing correctly.
Oh yeah,
and
you just put some. You don't put a whole lot in it.
That shit went. Hey go.
It's like the character in Battle Angel Alita that was like born in a toilet and flushed down into the sewers, and like he just lives in the sewers and shit. And he constantly is talking about how he was fucking born in the toilet.
Am I correct in thinking that Battle Angel Alita is basically just like all the most fucked shit that the guy could come up with?
I mean, I think he just put stuff in there because he thought it would be like fucked or badass.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm
definitely think a lot of what happens in the story is like just because it can.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in this universe.
That's like 80s manga. Like, they always would do those, like, post-apocalyptic settings where it's just, like, whatever crazy, ridiculous, fucked up, badass thing you can come up with is gotta be happening, you know? And, like, it's just, like, a competition to see who can... And, like, I think the reason that people like JoJo so much is that it basically just distills that down to the point.
Yeah.
Where, like, it goes way beyond the, like... Because if you read early JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it is a little bit more... like an 80s badass, like, you know, like macho dudes doing crazy fucking violent shit. And it was more about like how violent it was, you know, it was more like you saw some really insanely violent shit, but then it became increasingly like conceptual to where it's like about how these powers play off of each other. And sure, the result is still some crazy violent shit, but it's much more like grotesque and wacky, you know. Whereas in the early part, it's just like badass, crazy, violent gore and shit.
That's kind of like what I think Berserk gets right. It's because like in the beginning you're like front loaded with all the fucked bullshit, and then it just like it's just kind of like the undercurrent of the world they live in. And they kind of have that same character that's like, you know, the guy who's born in the toilet with the Eggman who like nobody like remembers his existence. And it's like, oh my god, Berserk handled that way better. And like I don't know, I just can't get over that he was fucking born in the toilet. Hey May, did you see the trailer for the Spider Isekai anime? I have not.
Oh, they made a trailer for the anime.
Yeah, the anime is coming out soon. I'm not hyped, but I am curious about what they're gonna do with the anime. If it's gonna be more like the early episodes of Slime, if they're gonna like go all out with like the aesthetic of her mind, or if they're gonna just like just do it exactly like in the manga. Who knows? I'll be curious though. Berserk is a one-trick pony. No, it's not. It definitely is a
Spoken
two-trick.
like somebody who has not read Berserk.
Me?
No, the person.
Oh, it's, yeah, like... I mean, I still have a couple chapters to catch up on before I'm there. Like, 60, probably. What's the other trick, then? What is the one trick?
Yeah,
it's
what's
gory?
the first trick?
Like, the setting is amazing. The paneling is amazing. Just the details in the art is amazing. It's funny. It has endearing characters. It has a plot that goes beyond itself. It has political commentary in it. Social commentary. Lots of fucking rape. What's not to like? I thought you hated political commentary.
Who? You?
Me? No, I'm interested in political commentary. I'm not interested in people who just repeat what figureheads say, people who don't think for themselves, but like, I am interested in commentary about politics and exploring and delving into like the different ideas people have.
I don't remember you saying anything about not liking political commentary.
I just fucking hate libtards.
Oh no.
And boomers, so...
Oh no, she said it.
Have you read Yokai Girls?
Oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? You hit me with this shit while I'm still on low health? For real? I know I'm on low health.
I guess that what I mean by plot that goes beyond itself is like what is happening with the main characters. There's like different subplots that are continuing and you see like how other characters are growing and like there's
a lot more going on than just what's happening.
Yeah,
with the main
there's something
characters.
going on in the foreground, something going on in the background, something that's being built to constantly. It's not just like a vessel to get to like point A to point B in the plot, and you actually care about the world that everybody's in and like all that shit. It's like a fully fledged world with different nooks and crannies. Berserk also has gay twink sex, which is awfully neglected in today's industry. 10 out of 10 show.
Who said that?
Selhar.
You always gotta credit people with their hot takes, lest you be mistaken for making them.
And somebody
yourself.
right under it says, "You say that Zelhar, but JoJo exists." True.
There's no twink sex in JoJo, is there?
Yo, Mark, read Vinland Saga. It's on my list. I got a lot of mangas to read.
Got 'em. I got some Umbran Tears of Blood.
Digi, on an earlier podcast, you said you hated HL2. I'm interested in hearing why you do so.
I hate what?
HL2.
Half-Life 2? I assume he means Half-Life 2,
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Half-Life 2 is fucking boring, dude. Like, so it starts off pretty okay. With the early part, when you're just like, fucking, you know, running around shooting at fucking aliens. I don't necessarily prefer, like, how guided of an experience it is. That, like, when you play a game like Halo, which I really, you know, a first-person shooter that I greatly enjoy, it's more like you're dropped into a somewhat free-form environment where you can kind of tackle things. Press the wrong R button. However you see fit. And in Half-Life, it feels more like, at least in the early stage, like, you know, like you're being guided along a track, and it's more about following the narrative than it is about playing a fun shooter game. And I immediately didn't really care for the narrative, because I'd like, probably helps that I'd seen criticism of it already, but like, just the way that your character is introduced and the situation is introduced, the characters just seem mega boring, uninteresting. There's a lot of scenes where you just have to like stand around and wait while people talk, but like the game gives you complete control over your character. So like, of course I'm just gonna be running around like trying to do anything but look at this incredibly fucking boring scene of just two guys looking at each other and talking, and then like incidental stuff will happen, like it expects you to go look over in this direction to watch this little cutesy scene play out, and it's like, man, I'm not even fucking paying attention, dude. This shit is boring. Then like an hour in, you are dropped into an hour-long boat sequence where you're fucking piloting this fucking boat, which is not fun, and like solving these like weight-based physics puzzles, which are not fun. They don't even really take much thought. It's more like you quickly realize what you have to do, and then it's just kind of like a bit of a pain in the ass to go about doing it, you know? So it's a really fucking boring section, and right after that it drops you into, again, a long-ass cutscene with two characters just fucking talking. Now I know that I stopped short what is considered to be the best part of the game, Ravenholm. I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. I didn't care at all, and I didn't want to see any more of it. I would be curious in trying the first Half-Life, because it looks more like a fun, straightforward kind of game that doesn't try to, you know, force you to drive a fucking boat for an hour, because it's so proud of its physics engine.
Yep. Somebody asked if they should bother finishing Max Heart Precure. If you don't already like it going into it, it's not going to like get that much better. I didn't like Max Heart as much as like the first Precure, so I just say to like skip to Splash Star because it's pretty good so far. A lot of people like Max Heart, but like it's more of the same, you know. I didn't think it was that strong.
Did you feel like if it hadn't, you know, if you had watched it all, would you, and it wasn't Precure, would you recommend it to yourself? Like, would you watch?
If it didn't have the label Precure on it.
If you could go back and tell yourself, "Hey, don't watch that," would you do that if it hadn't been called Precure?
Ooh, I don't think I would have watched Max Heart. I think I probably would have dropped Max Heart.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine for what it is. Like, it's just really, it's template-tistic. It's just more of like, the first series was just about the first two characters, and then they add like a second one. And I don't know, I just don't like them that much. But some people really fucking love it because it does have some Sakuga, but like, it has a couple episodes that are really bad, like super half-baked. And I don't know. It isn't really good. It's not consistent.
Oh boy.
And it doesn't really have like a spectacular ending or anything. And wasn't like wowed by the ending, so I wouldn't stick with it. And everybody's talking about Ravenholm as a level. What's the best manga with amazing paneling except for Berserk? What's the best manga?
What, for paneling specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of... I don't know if you could just pick one. Like, I don't know if there's one manga that I could definitively say has the best paneling. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of great manga that use paneling well.
I'd say check out Witch Hat Atelier, because it has like some really
it's very
creative,
unique paneling.
really
like,
creative usages of paneling. If you're like interested just in like what you can do with it.
I mean, the best use of paneling I've ever seen is in J.H. Williams III's art for Batwoman. And I just really love his insane fucking panels. And like, I don't even know if it would necessarily be considered by everybody to be the best. Because like, a lot of people prefer things that are really technically impressive in that they do something very subtly. I don't prefer that. I prefer audaciousness. I want it to be overtly stylized and crazy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're already reading a comic.
Right.
Like...
So take it as far as you can. You know, break the fourth wall. Use the medium for all that it can do. I don't care about immersion, you know? And that goes for pretty much all storytelling. So that's why, like, I tend to prefer movies that break the fourth wall a little bit more and, you know, aren't as self-serious. But like, what the fuck was the original question?
Best manga for paneling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, J.H. Williams III does really fucking insane paneling in Batwoman.
It's Batwoman, not Bad Woman. Somebody in the chat.
Batwoman.
Yeah, like
as in Batman,
but a woman.
Batwoman. She exists in the same universe as Batman.
But not Catwoman.
No,
and not
Catwoman's there
Batgirl.
too. Batgirl's also there.
Yeah.
They're all in the same universe.
Yeah, that's DC for you.
Yeah. And Batwoman is probably the least known of all of them. Because, like, the Batwoman character has not existed for a super long time. And she was created in, like, one of the Detective Comics runs where, like... I don't know if Bruce Wayne was dead or what the fuck was going on. But, like, there was a period where there was a bunch of other... you know, like, Batman stories going on in the world of Batman that didn't involve Batman himself. And so for, like, one issue worth, there was a Batwoman story called Batwoman Elegy that basically is the origin story for this version of Batwoman that they are introducing, which, I mean, is the first version. I think that they created this character in this particular series, but, like, they hadn't given her a backstory or anything yet, you know? So this is, like, the first Batwoman... like main story. It happened in Detective Comics and they collected it into a volume, and it's the same writer and artist who would then go on to do a proper Batwoman series for the New 52. But the New 52 is kind of a soft reboot of the whole DC universe, so like it's, even though it's clear that the events of Batwoman Elegy do seem to have happened in Batwoman, it's assumably not the exact same version of the events because the universe was rebooted. This is what reading comics is this kind of madness. And there's no recovery from it. It's impossible to ever recover, for any of the mainstay companies to recover from that. But because those characters are so fucking popular,
people are always
that's what people are always going to read.
Them, yeah.
Right. Like, it doesn't matter if they have the opportunity to do something else, like, they need to use those characters because that's all anybody's going to fucking read. And it doesn't matter if it becomes totally incomprehensible and there's no way to make it right for everybody. Because, like, when they rebooted the universe, what they were hoping is that they would get new comic book fans to read. And they got some, but not enough to... like, deal with the way that they pissed off all the existing comic book fans who like the fact that it's a convoluted, ongoing chronology that they know everything about, you know? And so, like, it just didn't pay off. The attempt didn't pay off, so they had to, like, retcon everything. And, like, basically make things the way they were again. What a clusterfuck. I'm fucking terrible at this game. I've died 5 times in this battle. But yeah, it's a total unending clusterfuck that's just barely profitable enough to keep moving and existing.
Yep. Comics are a clusterfuck.
Or as Movie says. Bob would say, comics are weird.
Yep. Somebody asked if there is a Precure with good choreography. I'd say there is a handful of episodes that had different animation directors on Hokuto Precure that had like really creative fight choreography. I'd say that's the best that I've seen, but again, I've only seen like a couple.
Heartcatch Precure is known for its awesome fights.
Yeah, so like if you're just looking for like choreography versus plain Sakuga, like I don't really know like what you're like looking for specifically, but I'd say try some of Hokuto and Heartcatch. Oh boy, where was I? There was a lot of shit about Batman. People saying One Piece had good paneling.
I gotta explain from my perspective how it is that Precure came to have a following in the West, as I perceive it. Because as I understand it, because Precure is a show for children made by Toei that airs on Sunday mornings in Japan. There are a lot of Sunday morning and like just morning kids shows that nobody watches in the Western community at all. And like over the years, more people have caught on to some of them, and like certain ones that somehow grow popular for whatever reason might have some people who know about them, but like it's very rare that happens. And like Precure was generally just completely ignored by the West for a very long time.
It's super culturally relevant. Like the reason that like I am interested in Precure is kind of because Western anime fans don't care about it, which is a plus. Like there are people who care about it, but they care about it because it's a super popular show that's being discussed and watched in Japan. Right. And is like a mainstay. Like it's always like interesting to see like what were people interested in that year, like how the anime and the series has changed over time. Like I like it because like it's not, people aren't talking about it on Reddit and shit, and like there's a very dedicated forum or thread on a 4chan that's like always about Precure.
You could not be phrasing this in a way that makes you sound like more of a hipster.
Well, no, I mean, you
want to watch something that nobody's talking about.
Yeah, but I want to watch something that I care about and think is good.
Right.
Like, I just think that it has, like, a bad episode of Precure is gonna be better than, like, most shit seasonal anime.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm into that style. I care about the franchise. I'm in it for the memes, I guess.
Well, anyway.
I'm sorry.
So the Precure series, I don't think it was necessarily popular with Japanese otaku from the beginning, but like at some point otaku started catching on to Precure because it has pretty badass fight choreography and animation, and like it's about cute little girls, so like obviously the lolicons are into it because it's basically a lolly show with really badass action scenes, and like it's not so childish, like it's only as childish as like Power Rangers. It airs in the same fucking block as Kamen Rider and fucking Super Sentai, so like it's that level of childish, and there's tons of people who watch that shit. Like tons of otaku love the fucking tokusatsu hero shit, and like it's also not like magical girl shows aren't popular with anime fans, like we've had otaku parodies of magical girls for a long time. The magical girl genre has seen a lot of evolution. It started with like Onagai's more racy stories, like, so it's like even though it is kind of just like a Sunday morning kids show that would be overlooked like any other, the Japanese otaku caught on to it eventually, and it developed like sort of a cult following amongst them. But like, it didn't catch on in the West at all because it's always on. It's like a big show, and it wasn't getting, you know, it started in the early 2000s, and like speed subbing didn't become a thing until like 2007, you know, when like that really took off as like stuff was getting subbed as it came out. And even then it took a long time before like obscure shit was getting subbed while it came out. Like there were always a few shows every season that I would want to watch, and they either wouldn't be getting subbed or would way the fuck late, like Manabi Straight or Hitomari Sketch and shit like that. Like subs for that shit came out way the fuck late because nobody was watching it at all. Nobody gave a shit. So like it's amazing that those shows are even still talked about today, because that's pure word of mouth from the few people who did watch it. You know. But yeah, like, so Precure was not getting subtitled for a very long time, and then at some point, I think because of Sakuga Mads, because way before the Sakuga community became a thing in the West, there were Sakuga AMVs, or Mads as they're called on what's it called, Nico Nico Doga. And so like I was watching shitloads of Sakuga Mads even back then in like 2007 from like Hiroyuki Maishi and the dude,
I'm sorry that I
the
like
most famous
interrupted
dude.
you before.
No, it's all good.
I just knew I was gonna be in for the long haul.
Yeah, you definitely are. So like all these Sakuga Mads and shit, I think started having Heartcatch Precure in them, because like my first exposure to it was seeing GIFs on like Gelboru and on the A board on 4chan, and then being like, what the fuck is this? And I think there were like 17 episodes out at the time, and people were like, yeah, it's the latest Precure, it's got these fucking badass action scenes. And like what had caught my attention was that it had the same character designer as Kashurn Sins, which I was a huge fan of. So I was like, oh fuck, like this is the only other show he's done, you know. Like he was not a guy, I think he did Ojamajo Doremi, and then like he's gone on to do some other shit, but like he had not done a ton of designs.
Amazing character designs.
Yeah. So like the art book I have from him is Heartcatch and Doremi, basically, and then this show called Mari and Gali, which was like a 5-minute short episodes thing that happened at some point. But like since then he's gone on to, I believe, do the character designs for My Hero Academia. So like, you know, now he's fucking a big shot. Now everybody knows who he is. But like anyway, he, you know, I love the designs in Heartcatch, so I watched it, and yeah, it has tons of badass fight scenes and shit, and like it seemed like a ton of people got into the show during that season because of that, the Sakuga. And so like not only did the Sakuga community catch on to it in a big way, and that's the only place it ever gets fucking talked about, is in the Sakuga community, or in the Precure community itself, you know, like the people known to watch Precure on Twitter kind of group.
They're all trans except for me.
Yeah, mostly trans people. God fucking damn it, this is fucking, I'm getting my ass kicked. You guys just using the same attack on me over and over again, and I can't get the timing on the dodge right.
In Thaliarchus. He's also in the Precure.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider him a trans, but yeah, Thaliarchus is he was one of the early adopters after Heartcatch, because he was just big into Sakuga, you know, saw some badass fights and goes, okay, I'm gonna watch that. And then you watch the first season and you realize, well, even in the first season there were some pretty badass fights. Yeah. And then you get to like you look at the middle seasons, you're like, well, those ones look really girly, so I don't know if those are going to be as good. But like on average, if you get hooked by Precure, you end up watching all of Precure. Like either you are like me and you bumblefuck around and watch like 10 episodes per season and never finish any of them, or you're like May, you finish a season and you go, well, I'm going to watch all of it now, you know, and that's why you've become a Precure.
Yeah, I mean,
where I have failed for the past decade.
Even if it's a bad episode, I still feel satisfied.
But you were able to do this because you watch it while you work out.
Oh yeah,
like it wouldn't have been possible if you just watched it all.
Yeah, if I was giving it my full attention, like it would be different. But I am just like watching it while working out. I'm watching the new series, the new season, like undistracted, but it's just really easy to watch. You know what you're gonna get. It's super formulaic, but it's always a fun time. Unless it's half animated, then it's not so good. Is Bayonetta gay?
No. Well, maybe. I don't remember.
Bit of a weird question, but how do you see things going for your post-YouTube Digi? Let's say 10 years from now, do you still see yourself as an entertainer, or would you do something else entirely?
I don't know if there's anything else I'd be fit to do than entertain. I mean, I don't know if I'll always be like a live entertainer or like a vlogger or anything like that, but at the very least I'll be writing books.
Yeah.
I've written a chunk of a book that I hope to finish, that I hope to release as an audiobook, and if people like it as much as I think it is good, then I think there's a chance I could write for a living in the long run. Did that make sense? Because I realized I just said a very fucking loopy sentence, like a labyrinthine sentence. Somebody complimented me on my sentence structure recently, and it made me so happy.
Was it in person or is it on a video?
No, on a video. Like, it was a comment that was like talking about how nice it is when I do written videos because they really like my sentence structure. And I was like, oh, it was on the top 15 anime of 2019 video.
That video is great.
Yeah, it's really tightly written, and like, I think I do my best writing when I'm trying to be as concise as possible, which is why I like making list videos, because I basically write like a bunch of concise reviews, but it's long enough to feel like one big meaty video with a central point, you know? But like, the writing is going to be airtight because I'm trying to get every show into 3 paragraphs, you know? So I'm just going to think about it in terms of like, what's the most interesting shit I can say? Because simultaneously I have to give you a sense of what the hell this thing is, how good this thing is, and why it is unique in how good it is, you know? Why it deserves to be at this place on the list over the things below it. So it's a lot of things to try to cram into 3 paragraphs and sell you on. But I like to think I do a pretty okay job.
I miss the Digibro who made all these fucking weird mispronunciations like C-Res and emulator.
C-Res? I know I used to say emulator or emulator. Wait, which one's wrong?
Nougat. Emulator is how you're supposed to say it.
Okay.
Nougat. Nougat was also amazing.
That was both of us, wasn't it?
I've always said nougat too.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. Like,
I think it's supposed to be nougat.
yeah, it's supposed to be nougat.
I'm sure I've heard it right before, but just read it so many times overwriting it or something.
I think there must be a commercial or something that said nougat.
I have no idea.
Yogurt.
Yogurt? I would like a yogurt.
How did you like Pikmin?
Pikmin was great. I wrote a review of it on the flight down to LA. So I've now got a complete 20-minute Metroid Prime script, a complete like 10-minute Pikmin script, and another main channel script that I wrote about aesthetics.
And a video coming out.
And a video that I've literally forgotten to put out for several days that Devu finished about
so
dead leaves.
You got some videos coming out.
I got some shit on the way. Let's just put it that way. Most productive flight I've ever taken was the flight to LA, during which I wrote several videos and edited my Metroid Prime script to be tight. God damn. It's so easy to lose like a massive amount of health all at once. I don't think I have any healing powers.
Who's the
Keep hoping.
Digi
Oh my
Bro
god,
of
fuck
games?
you. Fuck you! God damn, this fucking part goes on forever and you have to kill fucking 3 mini-bosses. And fucking there's no healing items. What the fuck? I've died here like 8 fucking times. Maybe I need more weed.
Okay.
I don't know.
Endless Jess asks, how do get water out of phone charger hole? Asking for a friend who is me.
Rice. I don't know if it really works, but supposedly if you get water in your phone,
It worked for my sister once.
submerge it in rice.
But he said a hole, a full phone charger hole.
I mean, I can't think of another way.
There's still bad weed in here. It's so green.
I know, we just haven't been hitting it. I just took a hit though, so it's your turn.
Oh, I thought you asked me to refill it.
No, I was just saying we needed more weed, but then I realized that we had that box.
Oh.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's... Like, this fight is crazy, because, like, with big enemies, it's like you can fight them all the way down, but if you use a torture attack, like, if you get your torture meter full and you use a torture attack, you could fucking just ace them in, like, a second. But, like, it's hard to fight all these
The
fucking
vape
little
box
guys
is
that
like
keep
weirdly
trying.
spicy if you hit it too long.
God, these guys take like a million goddamn years to fucking kill is the problem.
Oh boy.
It probably doesn't help that I don't know any good combos.
Are there any shows / games you dislike for unjustifiable reasons?
I mean, you'd have to be the judge of that.
I feel that way about JoJo. Like, I have no reason, but I have no interest in wanting to watch it. Like, I'm sure it's good. It's just like it's not my thing. But like,
I mean, the thing
I'm
is,
sure I'd like it if I watched it.
I don't even know if you would, because it really depends on the season. Like, I really think JoJo's... Okay, this is weird because I realized at some point when JoJo started getting popular that other people had a very different perception of what was cool about it than I did, because I really loved the first arc. Like, the first arc, Phantom Blood, I had read the manga way back. I thought it was super badass. And, like, my favorite thing about the story as a conceit was that it follows all these generations of this family throughout the centuries, you know?
Yeah.
That, like, each new character is a direct descendant of the previous one, that there'd be this ongoing lore where this, like, demon keeps coming back to fuck with them throughout the, you know, throughout the centuries and shit. And, like, when you're just reading that first chapter, it goes into a lot of backstory of the main character. Like, we see Jotaro and Dio from the time that they were children, when Dio was, like, fucking with him his whole life. And, like, you know, this protracted sort of battle that was already going on between them, but then, you know, Dio becomes, like, this world-eating fucking vampire god, and Jotaro has to stop him. And, like, that's a cool individual story that was really good. But, like, that part, everybody always says part 1 sucks. Everyone's like, oh, part 1
Wait,
is
there's
just...
a female JoJo people in the chat are talking about?
Yeah, there's a female JoJo in,
Why?
like, part 7,
It just
6 or 7.
becomes like an American comic.
Well, I mean, it's always been, they replace the main character every single time.
Okay.
Like, each part is a new generation of JoJo.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so at some
But they
point
make
it
it a
had to be a
fucking
woman.
bitch.
Because there had to be no men in the family. But, I think that probably has to do with the fact that it switched to, like, I don't know if it switched to an adult magazine, but it switched from a weekly to a monthly at some point. I don't know if it switched to...
I love when Digi
older
makes
audience.
minor mistakes, like calling Jonathan
John?
Jotaro.
Oh, well, who cares? Jonathan Joestar. Right.
Sort of feel like people don't like part 1 because it's less memeable.
Well, and also the thing is that the anime cut it down significantly, and that's what I eventually, like, I didn't even know this until more recently, because the first 3 episodes of the anime follow the first volume pretty exactly. but I'm assuming that they cut a shitload of the midsection of that arc because they only adapted it for 8 episodes, and then it goes into part 2, which is way the fuck longer, and I had no idea. I thought it was just half and half for a long time because I never finished the first season of the anime. And the reason I didn't finish the first season is that when it was coming out, it was super fucking censored. So I was like, I'm not going to watch this till an uncensored version comes out, and that took forever. So I never got around to watching it. And then I watched Stardust Crusaders, and it just seemed like the point of it was no longer to tell like an epic story. It was just to show off new powers every week. And then when I started watching part 4, I kind of had the same sense that it was just, okay, who's going to be the next bad guy, the next enemy stand that we learn the crazy wacky power of. And like there was an element of that in the first part, but like part 1, it doesn't feel so rigidly like bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. It's like there's more time between things happening to like, you know, establish some story going forward. I don't know. It's possible that some of the later parts do it better, and I just never made it far enough. But like, I had watched the first like 5 or 6 episodes of part 4, and I just was like not that interested. And the manga is better, so it's one of those things where you're like, well, why watch the anime if I can read the manga? But when am I ever going to get around to reading the manga? Well,
Yep.
but do I think you would like JoJo? I don't know, because like I can't really figure out if I like it, or if the reason, like the things I liked about it in the first place are really represented by the later parts. Because I know I enjoyed part 1 of the manga, but Stardust Crusaders was pretty okay. It was fun. It's fun to see all the crazy wacky powers, but I don't really get that much out of it compared to how other people seem to. Like, I don't know.
What Digi is saying finally contextualizes a complaint about part 5 I didn't understand until now. Gyo mode doesn't do a thing.
Giorno.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Giorno. I thought that... Oh boy, I gotta get my eyes checked out. That's all I could say.
Feel your Italian cred slipping away.
I literally thought it was an M and not an IRO. I was at the store today and I saw some this like fresh sushi, but like I misread it at first as free sushi.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Alright, it didn't say.
The way Digi talks about autists is similar to how anthropologists theorize the appeal and social significance of mythological trickster figures.
Nigga, what?
I have no idea. Almost forgot May's Italian. What does she think of the Godfather Part 3? Never seen any of the Godfather.
Not even a little?
Too busy. I've probably seen... I've seen the ending of the first one. But,
I've seen the beginning.
they're really long movies.
I have not seen them.
They're boring. Part 3 is the best in my opinion.
That's... Who is that? Jared Mithrander? Like...
Yeah.
Is it really?
It is. He's in here.
That
I've been talking to him all night.
Fucking hilarious.
I want to read your guide to Sailor Moon. I just haven't had a chance to because we're in LA. But yeah.
I literally just heard an opinion that no one has and thought it must be him. No offense, Jared Mithrander, but you do tend to just have the opposite opinion of everyone.
What if he is a mythological trickster figure and trying to trick everybody into, like, the wrong opinion?
I mean, I'm a guy who's known for having the
dyslexic?
other opinion, but he has, like, the other opinion.
I don't think I'm dyslexic. I think I just, like, haven't been reading right. I don't know. Your brother is definitely dyslexic, though.
It seems very likely, considering he still can't fucking read.
No, he said he was.
I mean, he thinks he is. He hasn't been diagnosed, but like, he believes it to be the case. I think the reason, I mean, if dyslexia is like autism and there is like a spectrum of it, then he might just be on the dyslexia spectrum. Because like, our friend Kyle, who had dyslexia, had like real fucked up ability to read, like worse than Victor's. But Victor, the fact that he's like 25 and still fucking struggles to read a fucking game card is definitely makes me think he's got some dyslexia. He's 26 actually.
May, are you actually somewhat culturally Italian, or are you one of those my heritage American? I mean,
Her family has some legit Italian
like my
culture.
great grandma is like right from the boat, so on my mom's side of the family it's like super traditional, but like nobody really speaks Italian.
I mean,
my dad is white as shit.
Some of the real old folks in there gotta speak some Italian.
My dad is white as shit, and like for the first 10 years of my life I didn't live anywhere near my Italian family. Yeah. So like I eat to the spaghetti. That's about it. I would say that your mom's side of the family, like, if they're having a gathering, it's an Italian gathering, but like, that's it. You know, they practice the heritage when they are having a gathering, but like, when they're just going about their day-to-day lives, they live in New York. You know, there's a lot of Italian shit in that area though. Yeah, I mean,
like, Rochester is a very Italian city.
I guess I grew up around like a very Italian society, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that my Italian family was like a big part in how I was raised. It's just like an aspect of my identity that.
And it's
like,
also that like Rochester Italian is like a
exploring.
different. It's like its own sub-breed of human.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, they have their own food culture in Rochester that does not exist anywhere else. And, like, it's heavily involved in Italianness because it's Italian restaurants that started that food culture, but it's not a food culture that is carried back to Italy or anything. It's just the Rochester culture.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand what I have to do.
Dyslexia is like autism. Digibro comparing everything to autism 2019. But, like...
No, we read that dyslexia is the opposite of autism.
Yeah, it's like the opposite condition with your neurons. Like they are like.
Yeah, where the hell did we read this?
On I Am Games.
Like where did we hear about it though?
I don't know, but I think one of us did research to confirm. I want to say.
All I know is that you at some point informed me that you had read that dyslexia is literally the opposite of autism. That they are like two sides of the same coin in some fashion. That they are the two different ways that your brain can be mapped wrong. And that's why I'm wondering if
holy shit, so Vic is objectively the least autistic member of the Digiverse.
It's very possible.
Yes, that's
it's
what
possible
I was saying.
that Victor is literally the opposite of autistic, which is apparently dyslexic and not normal. So, I mean, I said before, if you watch my explaining autism video, I basically went over this, that there's multiple bell curves, and that, like, whatever is the biggest one is the one that we call normal, but there's multiple others. So if you're far along one way from normal, you're an autism, and if you're far enough another way, you're dyslexic. But anywhere that's not on the bell curve is not a thing you want to be. And so you have a lot of the same tendencies.
Did you get all the
and
autism and Vic got all the dyslexia? That's why
Exactly.
Shade is normal.
Exactly. That's why Shade works at fucking Domino's. It was not a knock on working at Domino's.
It's all on the spectrum. And the guy we heard it from, Stumble Real, is in the chat.
Is he the one who told us about dyslexia and autism being different? Alright, where did he hear it?
Where did you hear it?
Link us an article. I need to know that this is real. I need confirmation. This boss is fucking retarded. Which is like the fourth condition.
We need more whiteboard vlogs, Digi.
Maybe. There's like a, there's like, you know, one of those political charts? You got dyslexia and, you got dyslexia on one side and autism on the other side of the left right. And then on the top bottom is smart and retarded.
Wait, I'm doing some research.
Did you? I
This
don't think
boss
you even...
is fucking.
Either that was not funny or baby was not paying
I
attention.
laughed a little bit. I went, huh? I think it's funny. I just like may have read something though that like conflicted with all that information. So I'm like,
could it be that our chat was wrong?
but I'm
about
pretty sure I have
dyslexia
a
and
friend that is
autism being
autistic
opposites?
and dyslexic. Who is the most Jew of the Digibro family? Definitely Victor.
Yeah.
He like goes out of his way to look Jewish.
He really identifies with it because he likes a lot of like I think Jewish culture as it's presented in media is all about guilt, and Victor has a very guilty conscience.
And
I
he's
think he
also a
resonates
theater
with it.
boy, and like theater is very Jewish.
Like he loved Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh my
He
god.
loves Curb Your Enthusiasm. And
No,
fucking,
and he's also a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Definitely Jew.
Real stingy with money.
Oh yeah.
Real stingy.
So stingy he makes his girlfriend buy everything herself. Although I do think they've agreed on that, but it's really funny.
I mean, depends on how much money you're making.
No, he never
You
buys
used to go
for
in a
her.
lot more on like stuff with me before you.
Yeah, but I sometimes like I don't always rely on you. Sometimes I treat you too. But yeah, when I was making more money, I was definitely like buying half the shit. But like he makes her pay for all of her own things.
I mean, I don't think he makes her. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes him let her do that.
No, that's definitely how it is. But he didn't stop it.
No.
What kind of man? That's way too equal opportunistic.
Yeah, you want more,
Because like if you
you want more double standard.
I mean, I like that you're paying for me.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel like you're worth something.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why chicks are into
if you're in a relationship with somebody, it's usually because you have like, there's a reason they're with you.
Yeah.
Like if you were broke and ugly, I'm kidding, but like, I just think because like I already tie a lot of my assets to you, and I like to be somebody who treats other
Title
people.
all of my assets.
Tied all of my assets to you. Like, all of my shit's in your house. I, like, moved away and quit my job so I could, like, move with you. Like,
yeah.
I'm mainly joking, but, like, you have, like, I use my money to live and you use your money to live.
I mean, the fact is that I told you that you should quit your job and come work for me. So it's not like, you know, like, you would be paying for things if you worked because that's what you liked doing that. You were like, oh, I'm making money. I want to pay for stuff.
No, because like,
I was like,
money is, like,
don't worry about it. I have money, and I will pay you to spend time with me instead of going to work. You know. And so that's why we have that kind of arrangement.
I mean, I thought it was always just because like I also like to spend my money. Like, what else is money for if not for using it?
Yeah.
Like, I like to treat my friends and stuff to food. Like, I bought people drinks and food.
Yeah.
When I was with your family this weekend, because like, I don't know. I guess that's just how I grew up, and something that I value. Like, if I'm with somebody who's
me and
taking
Victor
care
grew
of
up
me, I'd
in a
want them
situation
to...
where neither of us ever paid for jack shit. Because
Yeah.
like anything we got, like the only money we had was allowance money all growing up, and if we got allowance money, we spent it on things. We did not spend it on people or doing things or events. I just died to a fucking QuickTime event after that fucking boss fight. I fucking hate this game. I hate that they put the QuickTime events at the end of boss fights. It's fucking horseshit. And I'm playing on a fucking Switch controller, which okay, well at least it started me back at the QuickTime event, for fuck's sake. I don't know all the buttons on this fucking thing yet.
X-axis is dyslexia to autism, Y-axis is version to Chad.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to use my fucking right thumb. Or my right hand.
Victor is
I can't
full
believe this
dyslexic
shit.
Chad. Digi is full autism Chad, and Shade is dead center.
I need another drink. What time is it?
It is 9. I'm gonna bring you a drink.
What, it said it's 9?
9:15.
9:15. How long have we been going for? When did we start?
Like, probably almost 2 hours by now.
You think?
Yeah, because we tried to start. It's an hour and 55 minutes. Thank you. You should play Devil May Cry 5. It's great. You get to play as a weeaboo-ass Ichigo and Autism Adam driver for the first 5 hours.
Hey, will you give me a drink? And
Yes.
also Maui.
That was by Endless Jest, by the way.
Maui. I will definitely play it once I get the chance. Tom obviously has the game.
He jacked the PS4!
Well, it's his PS4.
I know!
We have our own. But I mean, of course he was gonna take it. What else is he gonna do while he's holed up?
Here.
I think he's probably gonna play through it like 80 times in a row. I don't have enough points to buy anything. Why are you even showing me this? You get a magic flute? Fuck that shit. Hell yeah, you better exchange my fucking points for halos. Bitch, I'm gonna go buy some healing items with my own damn money. Shit. There's so much drama in the LBC.
Okay, I figured out a better way to phrase what I'm saying about, like... Okay, so because I live with you
Tom
now...
did not move out.
No, not... Hopefully not yet, you know.
No. Unless he's having surgery done, in which case it could happen. But I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah, because, like, we're trying to move out of this house, in May. So, it's coming up really fast, and, like, we don't know, like, if he's gonna be able to come with us, because he has to go to the doctor constantly.
Yeah.
Like...
And he's on free mass health.
Which he won't have if we move out of the state. But since I cook and clean for you, and don't really ask that much in return.
Yeah.
I think it's fair that, like, you know, you pay more of the
Oh yeah, no,
that's
that's the point of that exchange of the
yeah, otherwise when I was like working and like, you know, I did buy your meals like often. So I don't know, I just like, you know, less paper, man.
Yeah.
It's simpler. You're paying for an experience more than just the food.
What the hell are you talking about now?
What? If you just like
what
always.
What the hell do I have to do to these fucking fire guys?
I was just like kind of trying to justify my being like a gold digger, I guess.
I don't think you're a gold digger. If you were, you'd pick a better choice. Somebody who's not in $30,000
Did
for
you
the
admire
debt.
in such a bizarrely traditional marriage?
I mean,
that's why we want to get married, is because like we care about like not traditions so much as like being, I guess, romantic about it.
Okay, like it's just that.
Oh shit! This is the wrong one. I meant to go this next level.
Like, I think that we would have I don't know, more of an objective view on things. That like I think a lot of people reject everything traditional because they think that it was all made up to oppress them.
Yeah, because
and it wasn't. A lot of it is things that come naturally to people because of the way they are.
They think it's like a benefit to them. Like, that's why it's been passed on, like, those traditional values have been passed on so long, is because that's just, like, the way society was, and, like, people had dowries and shit back then.
Yeah, and, like,
my sister, who is, like, super feminist, and is always, like, trying to outdo men in work and shit, she built up her own dowry to, like, have when she gets married. And I think that's, like, really traditional. Like, she has, like, silverware and...
I'm sure she's doing that semi-ironically, though.
No, she really cares about what she's worth and having, like, being financially secure. So she, like, you know, saves up most of her paycheck. even though it means
Right.
that she like.
But I
is
mean, it
living
makes
paycheck to paycheck.
it makes a big difference to have like a dowry that you yourself put together. Rather
Oh
than
no,
one of, like, your
definitely.
parents'
But it's like a
assets.
very traditional thing to like want to, when you get married, have like
Yeah.
all of this physical material to kind of like prove your worth,
Yeah.
or have something to like, you know, back up you. Like all this fancy silverware and shit. I have a fetish for hard-working girls. I'm sorry. I probably can't get you upset.
You work hard. Just
I do, but I would rather work smarter than harder.
yeah.
Like,
well,
I throw myself in a job that I'm doing, and, like, I did well in school, but I wouldn't say that, like, I care that much about working hard.
Well, you know, work hard and smart is the best way. Like, don't work
I have
dumb.
a heart for fetish girls.
Oh, what the fuck happened? Okay. The fucking scripted sequences in this game are such a fucking pain in the ass. It's like right when I start to get into a groove, of feeling like I know what the fuck I'm doing, and being able to kill enemies semi-regularly, it's like run away from lava, and like you're suddenly at a fucking forward-facing camera, and also you gotta jump. How the fuck am I meant to predict?
Did you get
I mean, I
some
know.
weed that I
oh
gave
my
you?
God. What?
I gave you weed.
You gave me weed? Alright, well, I need to fucking escape from hell.
I might have put too much in there. You can check.
I get to I fucking died. I hate this fucking game. I think you definitely put too much in here.
Oh, do you want me to put some back in here?
God damn. I'm surprised we had that much keef already.
Right? I think some of it's mixed up from the last time. I must have had some keep saved up.
Keef or Southern.
Are you smoking green?
We're vaping, dog. We're vaping that shit, dude. We got a magic device that turns the leftover weed known as keef
Yeah, it has Yggdrasil on it.
into a smokable
And
product.
fucking Cider tricked us into getting it.
Well, I mean, it's been good to have. I
It's
haven't
been-
regretted the purchase ultimately. But like, cause
Yeah, but there's a better way to vape weed.
yeah, but it's nice to have something you can do with your keef, you know, to
Definitely.
get that last day of
I just
smoking
like it because, like,
that you didn't expect.
it's really easy to do.
It's extremely cost effective.
Yeah.
Like, cause, when you grind your weed in a grinder, it'll have like this special bottom carriage where like the extremely finely ground pieces fall into, and if you vaporize that shit, if you do it right, it gets you like the most high, the fastest, and by far the best bang for your buck, because it's like more pure THC is in there than normal. And so like, if you technically took all the weed you got right when you got it and dusted it down into keef and then just vaped everything you smoked, you'd probably get by far the most longevity out of your weed and possibly the best high. But it's more of a body high than a mental high, and I'm not as big a fan. I like the severe brain blast mental high, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I tend to prefer smoking blunts, which are the least cost-effective way to smoke, but by far the most fun.
Definitely the most fun way to smoke.
Yeah. God, this boss is a pain in the fucking dick.
We had your mom smoke a blunt with us.
Yes.
A couple.
me and my mom were smoking pretty much non-stop the whole LA trip, which is why we came back and immediately bought weed. Because I was like, oh man, I want to have some weed. Especially since we're going back to Boston and the cold. Have we gained a single fucking sub this whole stream?
One at the beginning.
I don't remember hearing the noise.
It was really early on. We did hear the noise though.
How many people are even watching this?
63.
Okay. So I'm not doing this to nobody.
No. There's people in here.
I wasn't sure if anybody was watching because the stream took like, it was so late.
Well,
it had so many technical
people
difficulties.
In the chat, you know.
And I was so fucking bad at Bayonetta.
People are talking about weed. We should smoke bong.
We are also big bong.
We have a bong. We just gotta. I need to spiffy it up before we use it.
Like my mom uses like this really small bong, and she mostly just will do the same. Like she does like a super small bowl, but she just does it all in one go, and she'll just do 3 of those. You know, like take turns until everybody's done 3, and that's the sesh. You know.
Yeah.
Me, I just keep smoking until I'm high, basically. Like,
right.
I just keep smoking. Like I smoke a blunt, and then if that's not enough, I smoke some bong hits until I feel sufficiently stoned. Usually, a blunt or 2 is enough. You know, like we had earlier. We fucking failed our first blunt roll-up attempt because the blunt was fucking a nightmare. I got the wrong kind of swishers. So that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, he got like the black and mild swishers, and
they're not. They're the issue is that they are they have tips.
Yeah. And
so they're like really stiff because they're just made to go well with the tip, I guess, and like they are not so good for taking apart.
Is rec weed legal in Virginia? No, but they just legalized medical usage. So,
it'll be legal everywhere before too long.
Yeah, we're not that worried about it. Legal weed kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of honestly like we'll probably be in a better situation with illegal weed, which is why I think Tom hasn't bothered going to the dispensaries because he just every time he goes to New York manages to like, you know, buy some off a friend's friend, but like
it's just
and we have friends in Virginia who can sell us weed, so like
there isn't like enough variety or enough or easy enough access to have like that extra cost be worth it.
Yeah.
And like even when we went in California to the dispensaries, like
even in California it's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
The only place that it's really good is in Portland.
Yeah.
And even like, you know, you're always gonna have to drive to a place and pay more money than it costs to get it.
Like a 20% tax plus you're paying for like premium weed, and like your dealer is gonna, you know, get you something a little less expensive. Like it's a lot. They don't, and in other places sometimes they have like different strains that'll be less expensive or less potent or whatever. But it's like a flat rate here. And again, it's like really far away. Like you have to drive an hour away to get it.
I really hate these segments in this game. They're just like they're not fun. They have random QuickTime events spliced in that why would you see it coming? Why would you expect the controls to suddenly radically shift? And you're fucking trying to like figure out which direction is okay to run in.
Digi's parents sound like the most unique parents ever. Yeah, I'd say. I just spent like the past week hanging out with them, and
I think the thing that makes my parents unique is simply that they manage to be decent parents while doing the lifestyle that they live.
Like they're very parent-esque.
Yeah.
But they're also like, you know,
they come from really rough backgrounds and they did a lot of really crazy shit. Like
they're just trying the best they can. They're good people. They're you know, they're kind of old.
Yeah.
But they're fun.
They're the very early. My dad they're like very early Gen Xers. My dad seemed very defensive of the idea that he is from Gen X. When we were telling him about boomers and like what the conceit of the boomer meme is, and he was like, when you said like basically anybody over 30 is considered a boomer, he was like, nah man, I'm Gen X. We're Gen X, man.
Yeah, it's like you are old though. You are part of the problem.
Nah.
No,
Gen Xers don't get enough credit for being separate from boomers. I think it's because...
I mean, it's just because there's so many boomers. Like,
yeah.
Gen X is, like, relatively small compared to that. And also, they are the ones currently, like, fucking with the country and Congress.
Well, I
and
just
stuff.
got fucking destroyed.
There hasn't been enough time to, like, look at all the mistakes they've made. Because, like, with the baby boomers, it's like, okay, well, we can see you fucked us up in this, and this way. With, like, Gen X, it's like... Give it 10 years and we'll start talking about how the Gen Xers are fucking all drug addicts ruining shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what, you know, that's what Kendrick Lamar said. You know why we crack, baby? Because we born in the 80s, the ADHD crazy.
Maybe they just get, like, kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card because their generation got so fucked up by the boomers. And we were like, okay, millennials, like, they're also fucked up. We're hoping Gen X is okay. Or not Gen X, Gen Y. The Zoomers.
Z.
They're Z.
Gen Z. We're
Y
Gen Y.
That's so stupid.
They're all stupid, and they're gonna go with like Alpha next or some shit.
Yeah, next one is Alpha.
Oh no, what are they doing?
They're gonna go Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, Iota, something Lambda. Oh boy, are we millennials? If you're born after, I think, 94, you're Gen Z. And if you're born before that, you're a Gen Y.
We talk way too much about trying to figure out exactly what age is what generation.
No, I really feel like
at this
1995 onwards is Gen Y.
I just don't think it's worth fielding the question anymore. You clearly don't watch enough I Am Games if you have to ask this question.
People, you know, it's not clear. If you
They're
go
not
online,
watching enough I Am Games.
Clear.
We've discussed it many times.
We've already discussed the parameters.
We talk about Doomers on the show all the time. We have a t-shirt of it.
The only humans I respect are people born in 1997.
We've fucking.
He may need to reevaluate.
We've invested too much of our channel's identity into too obscure of a meme.
This is weird talking about your parents, but like.
We can't help it. We talk about fucking generation shit all the time.
We talk about
and now that Dick's doing it all the time
the
too.
Same age as us. It's like
even worse.
You know why they're like that, right? It's because they're a fucking Zoomer, and
yeah,
it's because we're racist against other generations. We're ageist.
Well, I've always been an ageist.
Oh, me too.
Nobody can deny that.
Anyone under 25 should be in prison for endless jazz.
Thank you, Jess.
I mean, everyone under 18 is pretty much in prison.
That's true.
You guys should watch the.
Jesse, how do you think I did on the Dick show?
Oh shit, yeah.
He might think I was shit, so I gotta know.
Do you think he watched it?
I don't know. I don't think he's caught up on the Dick show, but he might have watched it because I was on.
I'm too afraid to watch.
Well, that's fine. I don't really talk about much. I mostly like tried to be kind of a background character, but me and Dick have a hilarious 15-minute riff on how to tell a guy he smells bad.
I thought it was a pretty good episode. I thought it was a pretty good episode. And like even the people, you know, talking about
we
it.
do interview an edgy 14-year-old
Yeah.
right-wing YouTube
You should
pundit
go
with
watch her
800,000
videos.
subscribers.
It's Soft, right? Or so.
So
Yeah, she has a video about school being a prison.
I could see Jesse absolutely hating her.
Oh
in her
yeah,
videos.
for sure, right?
I mean, I was surprised that her video that we watched was as good as it was, and the only reason I was able to be agreeable during that interview is that he chose to focus on a video about school. That it wasn't like a very political video, it was just about how she hates school, and I was like, oh, I'm totally fucking on board with that. I hate school, you know, completely. But if he had put on some political video, I don't know if it would have been the same story, because I'm pretty sure she's the same girl who used to just scream, like, racial epithets and obscenities at the camera, and that was, like, her whole career.
And Liz just says, oh, I've seen her. It's the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. She's changed a lot. She's no longer just, like, screaming
I
about
thought her
bullshit.
new video was pretty good. Like,
I mean, it felt like a Maddox video, but, like, I mean, it wasn't as terrible as most of Maddox's newer videos, but, like, her delivery style, the editing style, it was all very much like Maddox.
yeah, it's kind of like in the vein of that, but I mean, for a 14-year-old, you can tell she like puts a lot of effort into her script.
Yeah.
And it was funny, like regardless of where you stand politically.
Yeah,
But-
no, like I said, it's improved dramatically from how she used to be, when she used to literally just like scream fucking like.
I mean, I probably would have
Nazi
liked that though,
bullshit.
like TBH.
I'm sure you would have.
She's so
I mean, my
funny.
friends used to watch it all the time, just like to fucking marvel at the existence of it.
Yeah, it sounds like a trip. Like,
But yeah, like, I was surprised that her video was actually, like, a real video. But, she mentioned something about, because at one point she said that she edits it herself, but at some point she had mentioned working with Vapor Rub Boy, and I'm pretty sure Vapor Rub Boy was the guy who edited the meme review, which I kept meaning to ask, but then I never got the opportunity.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Jess also says, I'm doubtful that she was able to hold a conversation at all without a jump cut every 2 seconds.
That's hilarious. I mean, she was, like, just very calm and sort of
Yeah.
normal. Like, she wasn't acting like a character or anything. She was just like, yeah, you know, I do this thing.
Yeah, she sounds like she's seen shit, though.
I mean, and when you have 800,000 subscribers, you've seen some shit.
Yeah, you probably
If
have.
you've been, like, a famous person on Poll since you were 9, like,
You've probably seen
you've
shit.
definitely seen some
Yeah,
shit.
you have to
Like,
remember, this
she was-
is like a preteen girl who's
Like,
like
it was really funny
subjective
when,
and fortunate.
like, Dick was asking if she gets, like, a lot of creepers, and she was like, no, you know, I don't, I get surprisingly little of that, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
but you go on Poll, like, what do you mean? Like, you just have a different perception on what a creeper is than an average person does, you know? You're definitely surrounded by creepers.
It's like her like army of creepers though.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird phenomenon, and like I don't know how this girl's gonna turn out when she's like 18, because like what if she gets really hot?
That
Then
would
the
be,
world is
That
over.
would be terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
She gets really hot, they're gonna be trying to get her to run for fucking Congress or
Oh
something.
yeah, she's gonna be the new
They're gonna try to install her.
AOC.
Yeah, the one for the other side, though.
Yeah, they're gonna have her up against AOC. Oh no. That's why she has to be
This is like our
assassinated.
billing for like the future of American politics. Oh my god.
If you run around on the water down there, you can find a bullet and a challenge room if you care.
I'm not gonna do the fucking challenge rooms. I'm already doing fucking poorly enough as it is. What does this mean by use? Does it mean I can turn back time on shit? Where do I need to use? Do I want to use it down here? I've literally beaten this game not even 5 years ago, and I barely remember shit.
She seems really smart though. I don't think she'd turn out to be a manipulated hot girl. I completely disagree and despise her existence and parents. But for a 14-year-old, she's insanely smart and articulated.
Who said that?
Selhar about Soft. Yeah, like I mean, she cares a lot about her videos, and you can tell she like has fully thought out thoughts.
I mean, the way that her writing sounded
know
like
if all
what my
14-year-olds
writing
could
sounded
do
like when
that.
I was in high school. Maybe a little more flowery because she's probably been doing it for longer than I
Yeah.
have been. But like it definitely reminded me of my own writing. Well, okay,
Would
I'll
you
say it was
say-
probably better than I was in high school. Maybe closer to
Would you
college.
say you like kind of styled your writing after Maddox at all? Like,
He was an influence on me, but
Yeah.
not. I don't know. I don't know if he was an influence on me in high school because I was right. I mean, like I was a huge fan of my buddy Bacaraptor, who was deliberately an anime version of Maddox. You know, so like the guy who I did a lot of work with him and shit, but like his career, like the whole idea of his blog was literally a Maddox clone. Like it looked just like the best page in the universe. It had the same like weird text style, the same like very curt short sentence writing style. Like it was basically just supposed to be big Maddox's blog but for anime. And you know, I was a big fan of that. So that was what made me go and read Maddox. And then I became a big fan of Maddox as well. But like insofar as I tried to copy everyone's writing style who I liked at all, you know? Like, my writing style has always just been an amalgam of a bunch of people who I like. There's a lot of Ghostlightning. Because he was a big influence on me. There's a lot of just like early forum culture. There's some Maddox. There's some, you know, I mean, at this point, there's probably a lot of Dick Masterson, you know?
truly.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do in this place.
There's a fire red ROM hack that turns battles into double battles. May should check it out since she likes Coliseum.
Well, I think you have all the facts wrong in that statement.
I will check it out.
May
though.
hates Coliseum because it is all double battles. So I think you have the information completely backwards.
That's not the only reason why Coliseum.
That was like your biggest complaint about it, though, was that it was all double battles.
It just didn't lend well to like the kind of game that was being played. It made all the battles take way longer than they were supposed to. And I guess that's kind of like the point of the game. It's like, you know, it's just like a simple, straightforward story of a lot of battles in between. But there was like no actual like raising of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked. But I'm interested. I like ROM hacks. Dick has gone from hardcore libertarian to arguing for a Scandinavian-style social
I saw this
safety
comment
net
on.
that has been a wild ride.
I saw that comment on Reddit. The thing about it is that Dick has kind of never been that honest about where he really stands politically, because I think that he's basically like a radically libertarian center right, but like not that right wing. Like he's mostly just super libertarian, and he obviously has tons of liberal friends and tons of more liberal leaning beliefs. He's obviously not what you'd call conservative at all, considering that his values are all pretty progressive, you know? But like, I think that he also believes that having that opinion is just the funniest stance to have politically, and is going to, you know, allow himself to attach himself to that a little bit more than, like, it's more important to him to be funny than honest, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, and I mean I don't think anybody can blame him for that. Like
Some people can. Some people will.
he's not trying to be a political speaker though. He's not trying to be a good
Right.
guy. He's trying to entertain, and like he hasn't always been the good guy, you know.
Yeah.
It's fucking Dick, but like he has a good show. That's all I can say. I saw this Jared Mithrander quote that was pretty funny. When I read about Taikal's reputation on otaku boards, I went, "This is the atheist counterpart of who I was back then on VGF."
Was I known for my atheism? I wouldn't be surprised if I was.
I mean, I think it's just because he's like a religious vlogger.
Yeah.
Like, it made me laugh.
I thought he was just gonna remark that it was clearly the same person that I am today. that like, oh, he was literally always a controversial figure. But I guess he must have had a similar experience.
Maybe. It's really funny though.
I definitely was like a bit of a like an edgelord about being an atheist, but like
You were?
I feel like I still am. I don't feel like that's changed much. I feel like I've gotten even edgier about it because I'm even more dismissive of Christianity.
Yeah, it's like more noticeable in person though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You
you're
never
saying
really
that you don't
came
see a lot
across-
of it online.
Yeah, not just like how dismissive you are of it, because like
Yeah.
you come across as somebody who doesn't give a fuck, but like
Right.
in person, it's like you're dumb. Like
Yeah, if somebody's Christian. I
yeah,
mean,
like you're going to say something. You're gonna be like, well, like I
Well,
obviously
it's-
don't agree.
it's just funny because I feel like people are being expected to respect someone else's religion. When you're not expected to respect someone else's opinion on anything else, you know? Like, if I came out here and said, like, if I came out and, like, made some, like, really hardcore political statement, people would not be inclined to, like, respect me for, like, whatever side I'm on. Like, oh, I respect your side, but I disagree. Like, no. Nobody would say that. But with religion, it's like, oh, I respect that Christianity can bring some good to people or whatever, but it also... I don't give a shit. If you believe in dumb shit, you believe in dumb shit. You deserve to be criticized for believing in dumb shit. Shit that don't make no goddamn sense.
Somebody says like celebrities are taller in person. Digibro's more atheist in person. I respect all sides. I don't know. I respect people's religions, you know.
I think it's just that when I was younger, I might not have felt like I could get away with like making fun of Christians too much.
And now that you're older, it's kind of like, well,
people clearly
don't
don't give
care.
a shit because I'm doing it and nobody's stopping me, and so like I don't think there's enough religious people in my audience or people who like care enough about having their religion insulted, because something else about them has probably been insulted as well, you know. Like
yeah.
I'm pretty fucking cutthroat. I'm kind of an asshole. I will make fun of anybody for any reason.
Digibro, I don't believe in God. Also, Digibro, your beliefs are goddamn stupid.
It's really weird because like I don't have that much ire towards Christianity or anything or any particular religion because I didn't grow up with religion. So for me, it's just like a funny thing that other people do. It's just like, haha, weird. People are into this thing, right? But like a lot of the music I grew up on and like the art I grew up on was very anti-Christian, specifically because it was people who had grown up in Christian societies and been treated like shit, singing about how they got treated like shit by their community that was supposed to be good Christians. And then they do all this historical research and find out about all the bad things Christianity's done in the past, and then they make epic concept albums about it, you know? So, like, I have, like, the contact high of that, like, extreme anti-religious sentiment, which my mom also is kind of like that. Like, she's a lot more, like, vehemently anti-religion.
Yeah, because she was grown up with it kind of forced on
Right,
her. Even if
exactly.
she wasn't, like, religious when she was
Even though
little.
her mom was not really religious, she just suddenly decided to become, like, to act like it, like to act sedity, you know? So, like, that was weird. But yeah, like, I don't have a lot of history with religion, so I have little to be angry about. Like, Nate gets really pissed off about religion because he was raised, like, having to go to church and shit, and he really hates it, you know? How do I access the other fucking... How do I access the swords? I'm supposed to be able to buy guns and swords. When I click on it, you see its thing turn over. Well, I guess that's not relevant. Where's the fucking sword? I'm supposed to be able to buy a sword.
Is it in the treasures?
I should probably just buy more techniques. Stiletto. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Heel slide. Alright, I like it. But anyways, I do think that when I was first getting on the internet, I was probably like, you know, probably like an edgy little fucking atheist.
I mean, that was like the cool thing to do before like it became.
I think it just felt like Christianity was more widespread back then, and then
yeah,
like,
because the world feels small.
Yeah.
Like you're just used to the community you're in. You're used to like dumbass kids. Because kids don't really have time to think about their religion unless they have a problem with how they were being raised.
I mean, the worst treatment I ever got by religion is like, I distinctly remember when I was a little kid, being on a playground, and me and Victor were playing like just like on a playground in the neighborhood, and there was like some little girl there, and she came over and was like playing, and then she asked us something like, "Are you Christian?" or something like. I think she just asked, "Are you Christian?" and I said no. And she like freaked out. She was like, "They're not Christian." She's like crying and went to her mom and like left the park and shit. Like she was, the mere notion that someone wasn't Christian was like utterly terrifying to this girl.
You're gonna have to type in Tom's code.
All right.
Because it's gonna be like, we don't recognize your face.
Yeah. So like that was the worst experience I remember having with Christianity and being alienated by it. And I mean, obviously there was like mostly Christian kids everywhere I lived growing up, but like, you know, it's not as though I was necessarily shunned for being non-religious in whatever communities I was a part of. Like, I didn't grow up in a very religious place. But like, I knew people online who grew up in like super religious places where like, I knew people who literally were like, I can't, like, I have to use the internet to talk about anime because I could get fucking beat up for talking about it where I live, you know? Like, people who had been, like, fag dragged and shit like that, living in, like, rural-ass communities in the middle of the U.S. Like, I knew people who had experienced that shit, and I was like, holy fuck! There's some fucking weird rednecks in this world.
Yeah, exactly. Let's face it, can you really be a feminist if you are an atheist?
Checkmate, atheists. Anyways, the reason I was talking about all this is I was just thinking about it because in the car we were listening to the song Kneel to the Cross, which is a Agaloch cover of a song by a band called Sol Invictus. And I was just thinking about how like it's some very deeply anti-Christian folk music. Like, it's basically just about all the messed up things that have happened to people because of the Christian religion. And I was like, man, this is what I grew up listening to, and I don't even give a fuck at all. Like, I just think this sounds dope. But you know, when you're younger, the sentiment of the music is more raw. You're like, yeah, they did fuck everything up, didn't they? Those fucking bastards. Just like if you grow up listening to nothing but System of a Down, it's easy to think that George Bush is causing all of the problems in the world. Even though they weren't even necessarily like, they were never like about any one particular. They were just anti-war. They weren't like naming names or anything, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently the drummer is now a Trump guy. Which is pretty funny. Because I remember I was listening to some of their music at one point, and I was feeling like, you know, because of the crowd who gravitated towards System of a Down, and because of who was president at the time that they were big, they were largely associated with being like a you know, a left-leaning band. But their lyrics are not necessarily leftist, they're just anti-government. And like, they were obviously anti-government for the reasons that the current government was bad, but like they weren't necessarily like leftist sentiments. It was just like, we don't like the way the government is run. You know, we don't like what they are doing. So to hear that one of them turned out to be a Trump guy, I was like, that kind of makes sense, because they weren't ever like, you know, they weren't ever like sided necessarily. They were sided against issues, which is the right way to be, which is why I like their music, because it's, anybody can agree like with the things that they're saying. It's not necessarily like a political it's not an issue that only has two political viewpoints that you can take on it, you know. It's like, hey, war is bad, okay, and it's like, yeah, there's people on both sides who probably feel that way. And the sentiments of each side change over time, you know. It's not the same people saying the same shit forever. Anyway, I wrote a song about this. It was called Tetragrammaton Labyrinth.
We went up for 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Alright, I'm probably gonna give up on this boss because it's really hard and I keep fucking up, I think. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. It's like a really complicated boss. And the thing about this game is that, like, if you're playing it right versus playing it wrong, it makes a really big difference. Because, like, you really gotta be activating witch time, like, all the fucking time. And, like, really fucking being on your A game. Because if you're just playing normal and you're not doing anything special, then it's fucking insanely hard. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. Does this just go on forever? Do I need to aim this? Am I heading to any particular location? Why was that happening? Oh, he's up there. Was I meant to get up there? Was I meant to dodge the attack? I don't know what's going on. I've been rambling incoherently about politics, I think, which is never a good sign. So we're calling it a day. I hope you enjoyed. Streamed a little extra because it took so fucking long to set up, and we were late. And we were streaming, like, technical difficulties for like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, we were.
But I suck at Bayonetta. I'm never gonna make it. We literally just chose this because it was the easiest thing to set up that looked fun. But turns out
it was not so easy after all.
No. Alright, everybody. See you in the next one. Don't forget to be the games you want to see.
Bye bye, people.
I am Games, signing out.